Yo, it's your boy Prez, aka @_Presidente on Twitter from the Strickland, and I'm here to talk about the Knicks defense from game one. I've heard some people talk about, man, Cat got roasted, and other people talk about, man, what was up with the schemes that Tibbs was using? Were the Knicks following his directions, or were his directions stupid? And those are all valid questions, and the answer is probably all of it was bad. The ideas were bad, Tibbs' schemes was bad, the players' execution were bad. Shout out to Dan Devine on Twitter. He said, I don't have access to the second spectrum numbers, but I'm guessing the Celtics scored like infinity points per play when they put Karl Towns in the action. In drop, when he was near the level, when they sent a second defender, whatever, demolition. That is very correct. He conveniently posted a 3-4 minute video, so I don't have to go looking for the clips. So shout out to Dan. We're going to talk about each of the clips in succession. So let's get into it. All right, this is 0-0, first play of the game. The first thing you notice is McCall's on Tatum, and Towns is in the corner with Horford. There's one screen. Drew fades back. That's not the real screen. This is the real screen for Towns. McCall on Tatum. A little bit of a moving screen, but you gotta know that's coming, right, from Horford. So get around it. Towns is in a bit of a shallow drop to me. Other people have said this is a deep drop. To me, I consider deep drop when you're in or near the paint for real. Not closer to the three-point line than you are the basket. What's for certain is, regardless of what you call it, you can't let Tatum just walk into a bucket like that. Last year, he wasn't the best pull-up shooter, but he took a lot of pull-up shots, and everybody knows that he can get hot in a hurry, which he did in short order in this game. So they were in shallow drop, which is the Knicks' preferred coverage with Mitch and Ihart, and it looks like at least to start this season with Towns. All right. Here, McCall gets a really high screen, 30 feet away from the basket. Again, Towns in shallow drop. McCall gets around a little bit better now. Doesn't want to foul. What shallow drop encourages is it dares shooters to shoot, and it relies on the guy who got screened, in this case McCall, to bug and annoy the shooter from behind by getting around the screen in a timely fashion. And usually agile long guys are the best at that because they can get around the screen, and then McCall with his gangly ass arms can bother Tatum, but Tatum was unbothered. He missed that one. Maybe he was a little bothered. This time we got Brown. OG was on him. Here we go. A series of off-ball weak side actions. Hart falls down a little bit. Cat mirroring Horford. This is where I think Cat's biggest weakness is on defense, actually, is when he has to play both the ball handler and the big man. This is also Mitchell Robinson's greatest strength. Here, you would like to see hands up or out, disguising whether or not he's going to go at White or stay with Horford, while mucking up White's vision by using his long arms. As you see, by the time Derek White gets to his floater, Karl has not raised his arms. So this was, when people talk about, or at least when I talk about Cat's bad defense, this is the shit I'm talking about. Here we got Drew bringing it up. They're telling it, give him to Tatum. Horford's telling it, give it to Tatum so they could do their thing again. This time, OG trails Brown around the screen. It's a bit of a decoy action. Karl's already in the paint. Why is he so far in the paint is beyond me. That's just this guy falling asleep. You're in shallow drop. He was not respecting Horford, which I don't know. I don't know what's up with that. That one was on Towns. I tend to be a little less harsh on Towns, but that's 2 in a row in this video at least. This is another weird thing. So at this point, they had finally stopped the shallow drop. So here you can see it's no longer Horford. It's our son, the unicorn, Luke Cornett, former Knick legend, Westchester Knicks alumnus. And you see Towns rush up and do this weird, like, pelvic thrust kind of thing. And the idea here is to keep his arms back so he doesn't foul, and to use his strength to bump Tatum. But to me, this is kind of stupid and lazy. Tatum's not uncoordinated. He's just gonna like absorb the contact and slither around it. And now what? Now you're out of the play. Good job. You can play aggressive, but I would prefer you to hedge up while being in a bent knee crouch stance, not straight-legged, where, you know, your fucking nuts are the first thing that's gonna touch the ball handler, who's already much lower to the ground than you. And as many a coach says, in one-on-one battles, low man wins. So Tatum much lower. Here, Deuce comes to help very aggressively from one pass away. Towns is like, okay, what do I do here? So here, they gotta know that either Towns is switching, and you know Tibbs he's not really a huge fan of switching, at least not yet. But in this case, if Deuce is gonna take a gamble like that, you either gotta really nail it, or you gotta trust that your man down low, who looks like Campaign here, a little blurry, will then come out to Pritchard. Campaign is not, though. He's sticking to, or McCall, or whoever that is sticking to Hauser, and Pritchard has a wide open shot. So miscommunication there. If the plan is to double, then a third man has to come up. So in that case, perhaps OG would take Hauser and Cornette and dare them to feed it inside, and then Payne or McCall would go out to Pritchard. But again, miscommunication didn't happen. Here you can see McCall pointing to where he's gonna shade Jalen to the left. OG gambles hard for a steal because his man's not there yet. Fine, fair. Xavier Tillman on OG. Back to McCall. Horford's there. He's gonna do another high pick and roll. We're in the second quarter now. You can see Towns is already standing straight up, which is like mistake number one. Now he does his like dry hump bump thing, which he succeeds in bumping Jalen back. And the purpose of that hedge is for him to bump him really hard, and then while he's getting bumped, McCall can get back in front and get back to guarding him. Towns doesn't go back to Tillman. He decides to chase. McCall never gets quite back. I mean, he does a good job of he's not in front of him, but he is on his weak side, and there's plenty of help defense here. Payne, one pass away, and you see it goes across the court to Tillman. So what happened, let's run it back again real quick. Towns is chasing, right? So Towns is like, I'm gonna provide help from behind, but he's too slow. So at this point, Towns should be sprinting to the corner or to the top. Rewind a second. You see OG already sees what's happening, so he's like, man, nobody gives a shit about Tillman. Fuck that. I'm gonna ignore him. And that's probably the right decision. Tillman's not a great shooter, and OG actually gets out with a decent contest. Deuce on Drew.
Championship level player. To me, Hartenstein
here. Screen. Tillman for Hauser, who sets the screen for Brown. Knicks don't fall for anything and are staying with it, but now here comes the real action. Deuce does an alright job getting around. Cat and shallow drop. Hands down. OG, see, let's rewind it back. OG actually made a little mistake, in my opinion. So watch OG here. He's one pass away. He tries to go for the dig. OG is as great an off-ball defender as anybody, so, you know, that's understandable. But as soon as you miss, you gotta fucking hightail it. This is just good offense in a lot of ways. Like, if that was a 3, OG is there to contest. But now, it's not, and he's behind the play. Deuce is there. Deuce is trying to take the charge. Brown with the Euro step. At this point, OG has to rotate again, so this is his third rotation, and you see he was resting, so it's on Deuce to get back, and Deuce is an insane athlete, so he actually got back pretty fast. But you see how it's a little bit of everybody there. Let's check this one out. That was Towns ignoring Tillman and deciding to help on Drew, which is like sort of understandable. Or Horford, not Tillman. So that one, his teammates, I would say, did rotate to contest all right. But here's the scramble, and that's, you know, when all the threes go up, you get long rebounds and you get scrambles. Here's the problem. So Towns was fine in the initial possession. Where is Towns now? Nobody. He's not doing anything.
Offensive rebound.
He's floating. So here, Towns' man is still at half court. Pitch. McCall back on Tatum. Gets around. Jalen with the very hard help. One pass away from an excellent shooter. That's probably just a stupid overhelp on Brunson's idea. Like, what are you gonna pick 6 and then beat Jason Tatum down the floor? That's just dumb by Brunson. Hart is too far away. That's not his fault.
2 threes to stadium. Getting that deal with the Nets. You don't see those two teams doing deals very
Towns
often.
swiping. Good crouch. McCall on him again. Second screen. Towns should be up a little more. Up, but he's not. McCall does a good job of sticking with him. Rescreen. Towns should get up because he knows it's coming. Another illegal wide base Adebayo screen from Horford, and then he uses his ass on top of that. That's the Bam special. McCall gets there. So if the plan is to send 2 at Tatum, then somebody else has to make this long trek back to Horford. But that's probably not the plan, judging from where Hart and Brunson is. McCall and Cat should have handled that better, and McCall probably should have. I mean, not McCall. Cat probably should have been a little bit closer so that he could get back to Horford. But that's the other thing. This team doesn't really roll to the rim like that. So why, like, the other at disadvantage of shallow drop, in addition to giving up jumpers to pull up shooters, is it just you open yourself to the shot from the pick and pop as well. Brunson flies out really fast. Really good help defense by him. Hart is already on the way. But again, like, that's a good shot. The Knicks gambled that they weren't going to make 2 passes like that in succession. And that's the thing about the Celtics. They that to me was, I don't know if I would have done that on defense, but it was a defensible plan. But the Celtics' execution was just flawless. Here, another high-speed screen. McCall on Tatum. Rescreen. Dead from that moving screen. But again, Towns is a little higher, but like, that don't cut it. This is effectively a switch. You gotta get up a little bit. Most guys in the league don't do that, but, you know, once you're 7 threes deep on Tatum, like, make him drive. I think he had maybe 1 layup the whole game. Brunson, Drew rejects the screen. Towns helping. Helping. And I could make that play, dude. Like, it worked out. Towns again. You see Towns is watching. His eyes are not. He's mirroring Tatum, giving him space, but his eyes are on Horford. McCall's back. So now, Towns, you better get your ass back, or Brunson could fly out, and then Towns fly to the corner to White. One of those 2 things has to happen. Brunson flies out. Towns late to X out. That kind of contest works against most shooters. It does not work against Derek White. Switch on the weak side. Bang, bang. Okay, here we go again. There we go. Up. Pressure. And you see OG already pre-rotating to Horford, which means once Tatum gives up the ball, one of McCall or Towns has to fly elsewhere. There's going to be somebody open. That's the person who's open. So in this case, Hart is covering. Towns is beginning to turn around. In this case, Towns has to go all the way across the court to Jalen or to the corner to Drew, while Brunson goes across the court to Brown. So this is what I'm saying, that the Celtics make you not make first rotation, but second and third rotation. Brunson's already flying across, but that's a very tough cover. Like, you have to do that almost ahead of time. And boom, very good execution. If that's a wing flying out instead of Brunson, maybe they can contest better, but it's tough. Brunson's fast, but he's not long. So there you go. Celtics present a lot of challenges. some of this was Cat's fault. Sometimes he'd be sleeping. Sometimes his aggressive defense is not with the best technique. On the whole, I think it was more just like, I would put the schematic issues and the Knicks just help defense issues ahead of any individual singular bad defense by Cat. Again, this was a video from Dan Devine of the plays Cat was involved in, so there were other defensive breakdowns where Cat was not as involved in the action, so it really, there's enough blame to go around, but more than anything, you just got to kind of tip your cap to Boston and expect the Knicks to sort out their team defense, which they will. Tibbs, that is literally his thing, so keep your eyes peeled and see how this team defense unfolds in the games to come.